Let's get more on this now from Eric Lipton of the New York Times. Also, John Reed Stark, the former chief of the SEC's Office of Internet Enforcement. Thank you both for joining us. Eric, let me begin with you. You and your colleagues published a major investigation this week in the New York Times where you conclude, and these are your words, the firm largely owned by a Trump family corporate entity has erased centuries-old presidential norms, eviscerating the boundary between private enterprise and government policy in a manner without precedent in modern American history. Break that down. What are the major questions of potential corruption and conflicts of interest?
I mean, this is a nation that we've always had campaign fundraising where people are taking donations, but these donations are going to their political causes. What we've never seen before at this scale in modern American history, or really in American history overall, is a president who is effectively, through his sons, owns businesses that are personally profiting off of regulatory decisions that he's making. And the conflicts of interest here are just, the word we don't like to use too much in Washington among reporters is unprecedented, but these truly are unprecedented. And he is, appointing the head of the Securities and Exchange Commission at the same time as the SEC is shutting down investigations of some of his business partners. He pardons a crypto executive named Arthur Hayes, who is an investor in one of the companies that's partnered with with World Liberty Financial. He's offering 220 people the right to come and have dinner with him at his golf course in Virginia. At the same time, these are people who are trying to influence his policies and, in fact, have stated so, that they're buying his crypto and effectively giving him money so that they can get access to the President of the United States. I mean, it's really just something we've never seen before. And it's actually quite hard to track. There's so much happening simultaneously. It's taking a whole team of us at the New York Times to try to keep up.
Let me bring in John Reed Stark. You worked at the SEC. Walk everyone through the major regulatory changes that President Trump has made that could end up benefiting his business.
Sure. Thanks, George. Good morning. For the last 8 years, the SEC has had a very robust crypto enforcement program, bringing all kinds of cases over and over again, both under Jay Clayton when he was chair for the first Trump administration. He's now the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, and under President Biden. They brought all kinds of cases. That was then, this is now. The entire crypto enforcement program at the SEC has been absolutely demolished. All the SEC investigations regarding crypto, closed. All the SEC litigation involving crypto, dismissed or paused. All the SEC appeals regarding any crypto matter, withdrawn. All the SEC regulatory pronouncements regarding crypto, pulled back. The SEC has suddenly declared that when it comes to crypto, when it comes to investors, they're not investors anymore. They're collectors, like Beanie Babies and American Girl dolls and other collectibles, Pokemon cards. That's what the SEC has suddenly said. They shut down their crypto enforcement unit. Well, they didn't shut it down. They gave it a rename. They call it they've rebranded it, recalibrated it as the cyber unit. They took the person who was in charge of it and bringing all these cases, and they moved them over to the Office of Information Technology to fix printers. And I'm not making this up.
So what is this likely to mean? Is this the Wild West now for crypto?
Absolutely, because again, with all these entities who were being charged by the SEC, and remember, the SEC was winning all of those 200 or so matters that they brought. They won all of them in court. Every single Article 3 judge that has ever encountered the issues involving crypto has said that digital assets are securities. Now the SEC says they're suddenly not. So when you say the Wild West, it's more like a Walking Dead post-apocalyptic anarchy, because all of these entities, there's no audits, no inspections, no examinations, no net capital requirements. There's no cybersecurity requirements. There's nothing. You have no idea what's going on with these entities, where beforehand, the SEC was being very aggressive, both with respect to registration and with respect to fraud. Now they're just shut it down.
Eric, you point out the issue of the pay-to-play, and we know that they've offered this seat at a White House dinner for the 220 top investors. But so many of the investments will not be known, correct?
So many of the investors? I mean, the investors, if they go to the dinner, will be known. But the way it works is that if you are, through the middle of May, if you are bidding up in this game board type competition and your status, then you will secure a seat at this dinner that will happen in late May. human beings will have to show up, so we may not know who they are because we will not presumably be let into this dinner. But yeah, at that point, the names of the investors behind the blockchain number will be known, by, at least to the Trump family.
Right. That's for the ones who go to the dinner. I didn't mean to confuse the issues there,
Right.
but it is very possible for investors to make it. We heard the word opaque in,
Yes.
in Aaron's piece, for huge investments to be made, and it'd be very difficult for anyone to know about.
Oh, no question. Like, for example, there are 85,000 individual wallets that have invested in World Liberty Financial. The company itself knows who those people are, but for the reporters and for the public, it's impossible to know unless you do a lot of detective work to try to look at that wallet, look at other investments they've made, and figure it out. So but what we know for sure is that there are investments coming in from all over the world, from Gibraltar in Spain, from Israel, from UAE, from places in particular, the Cayman Islands, that are designed to be obscure, and countries that have loose financial regulations. And so there is foreign money going into the Trump family in large amounts, basically, in a way that, again, we just have never seen before in a modern American history.
John Stark, we're just about out of time. What, if anything, can be done about this?
Well, I think this kind of pressure is important. When you think about the SEC's abdication of its mission, they can't disappear the federal courts. So the Article 3 judges that have all said that digital assets are securities, that's not going away. So it's clear that digital assets are securities. We know that they are, because even whenever I go out and talk about them or say anything negative, people will threaten myself, threaten my family, threaten to burn my house down. All of that will happen because I've said something negative. It wouldn't be true if I were talking about Rolex watches and Beanie Babies. So I think it's important, the states, the private sector, these decisions that have come down, they all still exist. So I think it's very important that the states take action, that individuals take action, to wake up the SEC and say they can't abdicate their mission of investor protection. They just can't give it up, no matter what. Now, given this, President Trump did say he was going to do this, so he's keeping his promises. But I hope the SEC can be independent enough to say, we're not going to do that.
Thank you both very much.